they asked me, how would you like to go to Cyprus for a 2-week vacation? And I said yes. And after the 2 weeks were over, I asked when I'm coming home, and I had the pleasant surprise of learning that I'm not. So we decided to just create a Facebook page called Let's Make Cyprus Green, where we could post some green tips, encourage people to adopt more environmentally friendly habits, but also to be able to publish an event to clean another beach and invite people to come and help us so we could collect more than just 12 bags of trash. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Robert Swan said that, and I couldn't agree more.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Hi everyone, welcome back to Hotel Talk, and today I have another special guest, Eleni Kazelas, who I met many, many years ago at St. Mafar Resorts, because she is the founder and the lady behind Let's Make Cyprus Green, which is a charity. It's a great initiative, and we're going to go into all of that in a bit. But first of all, I'd like to welcome Eleni.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's so nice. I mean, we've had so many conversations over the years, and I think we have a lot in common and a lot of things that are dear to our heart that are the same. So let's first start off by telling everyone a little bit about you, where you're from. You've obviously, everyone can realize you've got a Greek name, but then your accent is completely American. So let's go with, where were you born? Where did you grow up? What led you here?
Sure. So it's a little bit of an unconventional upbringing and story. So I was born and raised in Michigan in the United States. My father is Cypriot. He was born on the occupied side of the island. And my mother is Greek, but she relocated to the United States when she was 3 years old with her family. They met in England, got married, moved to the United States, had their children. So I was born and raised there. Didn't really have any kind of connection to Cyprus. I wasn't really coming here or anything. But when I was 16, they asked me, how would you like to go to Cyprus for a 2-week vacation? And I said yes. And after the 2 weeks were over, I asked when I'm coming home, and I had the pleasant surprise of learning that I'm not. So I had to kind of restart my life over again here on the island.
1 minute. So they had decided we're going to move to Cyprus, because it's not even moving back. I mean, your mom never lived here. Your dad lived here way back when.
Yeah.
And they had their kids. And then they said to you guys, we're going on a 2-week vacation. And then when you were actually here, they were like, we've moved here.
It was more like I was sent here and I was relocated here. They all stayed there. And this was because at the time I was dating someone who they didn't approve of. And this was their parenting method of keeping us apart.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it gets even deeper than that. So, okay, so you were sent over for a 2-week holiday to stay with who? A grandmother or?
Initial plan was to stay with relatives because I do have quite big family here.
I mean, okay, it's the normal Mediterranean.
Yeah, but unfortunately it didn't work out. We're very different people. We have very different values, and it was just a healthier decision if I moved out on my own at 16 rather than live with them and be in that kind of environment, which was fine with me. I mean, it was a bit of a struggle on many different levels, trying to adapt to a new place and all of that. But it worked out well in the end.
And being just 16 years old and on your own, away from everything you've ever known.
Pretty much. It was a big roller coaster of emotions. A lot of trauma came with it, still there and all of that. But it was a big learning experience, and it made me a very strong person. And I'm happy to where it led me. I mean, I have an amazing husband. We created a life for ourselves here, and Yeah, it's okay.
Do you miss the States? Did you ever want to go back?
It's been over a decade now. I haven't gone back yet. And we're actually planning to go back this September for the first time, which is going to be very interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Wow. And you didn't go back because you didn't want to, because you felt disappointed maybe in your parents, or because you obviously had your childhood friends there and you have memories and that was your home?
Absolutely. I found that when I was at a point in my life where I was able to start traveling, it was more attractive for me to travel within Europe and places that I haven't seen before. I felt that, there was nothing really attracting me to go back home. I feel that there's really nothing there for me.
And you've made your life, here. Did you go to school here then at 16?
No, I started working immediately. So
okay.
In the beginning at 16, I was working in hospitality, actually. And the minute I turned 18, I moved over to financial services and have been in this industry ever since.
And so financial services, which I've got here, what's your main business? One of the questions to cover here. So that's your main job that you've been doing then for quite a few years. And what exactly do you do?
It's a foreign exchange company.
Okay.
I work in compliance, the compliance manager. It's not really my passion, but it's just where my life led me. And I grew up in the business, from 18. I'm now 31. So
so you know it.
Yeah, it's quite familiar to me. And
pays the bills.
It pays the bills. Yeah. Pays the bills. And
well, you know what? I always say here in the hotel, it's so important for everybody to love what they do and wake up and feel happy to go to work. But on the other hand, I do also say, and I've said this in talks that I've done to quite large audiences, that there's an awful lot of pressure about finding your purpose. And your purpose doesn't always have to be your job. And, you don't always have to feel like, unless you're skipping and dancing the whole way through your 24 hours, that something's wrong. You can just do something that you're comfortable in, that you enjoy, not that you're miserable in, but that you enjoy, you're comfortable, you're good at.
Yeah.
And if it, ticks the boxes, then why not?
Absolutely. I mean, you need some sort of passion in your life, something that not only brings you joy, but helps others as well, because that also makes you feel good at the end of the day.
Definitely. Being part of society and a bigger
some
picture.
Community as well, having like-minded people around you, accomplishing something together, it also makes you feel good.
Well, that leads us straight on to Let's Make Cyprus Green. There we go. There's the intro. So tell us about LMCG, Let's Make Cyprus Green. How did that initiative come about? How did you start that, I believe, with your husband? And, where has this led you to so far?
Yeah, so Let's Make Cyprus Green. So what it is, it's a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to raising awareness about various negative human impacts on our environment, but we're especially focused on excessive waste and the problems that come with plastic pollution. And this was started in 2018, kind of randomly, really. I mean, we weren't planning to register an NGO or anything like that. It was just that my husband and I, we very often visit Paramali Beach, and it's actually the beach that we got married on. And we would go there every weekend, and every time we went, we saw that it was, getting more polluted with litter every week. And it got to the point where it was pretty annoying because you don't want to be laying next to trash. So one day we were like, okay, let's go next weekend and clean it. And we went, and within a few hours, we collected 12 full bags of trash. And it was really upsetting to have picked all of that up, but it also made us feel really good because our favorite beach was finally clean. So it kind of got us a little bit of a high doing it. And we were thinking that evening when we went home, what we could do to raise awareness about the severity of littering and waste. So we decided to just create a Facebook page called Let's Make Cyprus Green, where we could post some green tips, encourage people to adopt more environmentally friendly habits, but also to be able to publish an event to clean another beach and invite people to come and help us so we could collect more than just 12 bags of trash. So we did that. It was a cleanup in February at Lady Smile. It was very, very cold, very windy, not comfortable at all, but we were pleasantly surprised to see that around like 80 people from all over the island showed up to help.
Wow, which is really good.
Yeah, we were really surprised. And on top of that, we were really happy because we ended up collecting more than 100 bags that day in just 2 hours. So we made a big impact, and at this cleanup, I met some teachers that were asking like if we could go to the schools and do some presentations for kids. So that led to the idea of, creating presentations that talk about these issues that we could teach youth about. So from cleanups to schools, we also we came out with a line of environmentally friendly products so we could kind of feed two birds with one seed, like provide people on the island with environmentally friendly alternatives to plastic and items that will help reduce your waste, while at the same time try to raise funds for the organization because it's costly. And then a few years after that, we came out with a few other projects that are related to reducing plastic bottle pollution and encouraging responsible waste disposal. So it's
evolving rapidly.
It's evolving,
Well, I know that, I've just been so privileged, both personally and as a business, to be able to support you guys, because we've obviously, oh my goodness, I can't even think, over the years, we bought, I think, toothbrushes from you, straws, reusable straws from you, just giveaways that we've used corporate, for corporate giveaways.
Setting a great example for everyone else, because at that time especially, these types of things were so unknown to the islands.
I remember when we were giving the reusable straws to people, and not just in Cyprus, we were going to Moscow and London and places in Europe and the Middle East and saying, oh, here's our branded reusable straw. And people were like, what's that? Or what's the problem with a plastic straw? And then it would open up the conversation to explain, well, we really want to help you and everyone become more sustainable. So this is an example of how you can do it. And it really got people thinking. And then also I think for my kids, and I've used you as an example in many of my blogs, both personal and for the hotel, of how people can buy things. Oh, bane in my life. I can't stand it when I go to a kid's birthday party and I get just a plastic giveaway that invariably is broken by the time we've even got home.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
And then it's always like a lot. So it looks like, wow, the kid's got all of these things. How generous. But then actually it's just rubbish. Yeah. Whereas we bought from you, I remember one year, and we branded it, didn't we, with Yasmina's
toothbrushes.
Yes, with Yasmina's name, or we put love Yasmina or something.
Every child needs a toothbrush, right? It's something useful.
It's something
not
useful,
something that's going to break.
Made from bamboo.
Yeah.
Everybody used it. Then they could remember Yasmina, for as long as they had it. And so there's so many ways. So if any of you are listening to this and you've got either a business that you need to get a giveaway for, a party, birthday parties, kids' birthday parties, then do look up Let's Make Cyprus Green, because they've got some great ideas. And also I love buying your stuff for birthday presents. I love the bamboo cutlery set, which is so reasonable. It's under €10. And then you get these amazing, really useful utensils.
You can use them for forever. They're great for camping, just for having in your bag, for who knows what occasion. So it's very useful to have
really
around.
Good. That's so good. All right, now I'm going to go in like a little bit deeper. Okay. Why is this so important?
Well, I'm an animal lover, and what keeps me motivated is knowing that I'm helping wildlife. I have never been able to work like directly in a shelter or something, unfortunately, because it just breaks my heart. I mean, I even follow a lot of animal rights groups on social, and it's so hard to even watch the content. I often just skip it.
Yeah.
But I force myself to watch it sometimes because people need to know what's going on. So, I mean, that's one of my main motivators. Some people, they have the motivator, I have children and I want to create a better future for them. But for someone who's childless, the animals are my babies. So, it's...
Well, it could be for everything. It can be to leave a better world for maybe not your children, but for the next generation.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's not a factor at all, but I'm saying the main motivator is the animals.
I loved Stephen Fry recently. He made me laugh. The British, author, comedian, actor, everything. And he's in his late 60s now, or even 70. Anyway, he's a bit older. And he said that he loves having fun with people when they say, I don't care about the environment. And he'll immediately interject. He goes, I don't have kids either. And then they're like, but I do have kids. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I just assumed you didn't, because if you don't care about the environment, it's because you don't care, because it's just us and we're going to die and we're not leaving it. So he makes fun and really makes people think, as a joke, like when, he's like, that's for his joke. I don't have children. Yes, absolutely.
It's a bit irresponsible in my opinion. It's demotivating for people when they hear things like that. They're like, maybe they'll think, he's right. Why should I?
No, he then goes on. He's really clever. If you hear his things.
Okay. All right. I've never heard of him, so
that's why, he's just like, it's his way of making people think. They're like, why would you say that? And then he's like, because did you just hear yourself? Like, we should all care. And then, it's like a conversation opener.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah. But, it's such a big issue. I know that you're also vegan or vegetarian?
Vegetarian. Most of my meals are plant-based, but I do eat feta sometimes.
Yeah.
So
the feta comes in. Don't worry. Cheese is always the hardest thing for people to. Yeah.
I hope one day I can finally do it. Just a few documentaries away,
Yes. Don't worry. You join Farah's Club. I send out my emails on. No, I'm joking. Most people who follow me are not even vegetarian and nowhere close to vegan, but just looking for healthier and happier lifestyles.
As long as they're open
every
to it,
meal, makes a difference. So how and why did you become vegetarian?
Oh gosh, I mean, I was 13 at the time, and I guess I was reading something or watching something that was published by PETA, the animal rights group. To be honest, I don't remember even what it was, but after watching it, I remember my last meal being like chicken nuggets, and I was eating them and I was like, I can't, and I put it down and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, that's when you become really mindful of what's on your plate, and then you identify with something that tastes good or doesn't even look like an animal, and then suddenly you realize, no, that's
where it comes from. And how it became that food. And I think that's something that more people should look into.
Petsa recently used one of my kids on their social. It's so cute. I'll show you.
Show me.
With my little one saying, eat your vegetables.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think that they do great things. I think everybody should follow PETA, but it is shocking, and it's some of the things you say. You don't want to know. You scroll past it. Even as a vegan, I'm like, I know that I don't want to see more. But I think we do have to wake up and realize how much unnecessary pain and suffering and damage is being done out there for no reason when we can avoid it.
Yeah, and aside from that, just to have a better understanding that they have their own feelings and they can feel pain, and they're not like some
objects.
They're not objects. For example, my husband, he used to eat octopus, and a couple of years ago we watched a documentary on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher.
Yeah.
And it's about this guy. I think he was from South Africa, and he was diving in the ocean every day for 1 year, and he would meet the same octopus like every day throughout that year, and they connected in such a deep way. They formed this great bond, and after watching that, he's like, I can't eat octopus anymore.
And they're really clever. And they could be like a pet, but they're, for this guy, it was like his pet.
And then not just octopus, so many other animals. So.
They're all individual. I mean, I was the same because before I went vegan, I was a pescatarian. And I don't know, I wanted to believe, I just believed that fish couldn't feel pain, and it was different. And I don't know if it's because also we can't hear it. So we can't hear a fish die or scream, but we know if we look to it, all of these sea creatures, they won't go close to danger. They're shaped the way they are for a reason. They're the color they are for a reason. So there is so much to it.
Yeah, I wish it could be taught in schools. Like, we should have a specific class dedicated to this.
Absolutely. What is your, I don't want to say your answer to negative criticism, but your combat, how do you negate it when people have a negative attitude, or when you see people saying like, well, let's make Cyprus green, or why should we care, or it's not going to make a difference anyway, because there is that attitude anywhere in the world, and I'd say especially here. So how do you stay positive in light of that? How do you answer that? How do you move forward with that?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people, they don't care because they think it's like the responsibility of the government or environmental NGOs, or just like the responsibility of other people to take action on these things. But I also don't think that they understand like the severity of what's going on with the climate crisis and like how that affects everyone. So like it's really important that we educate as much as we can so people have a better understanding around this. It is hard to see because, I mean, even in, from 2018 until now, it's hard even finding volunteers, which is difficult to see because it's like, why aren't more people caring about these issues? It's sad, but it's something that we have to deal with. And I think as the years go by, it's becoming more of like a hot topic, let's say. And
I think people definitely are getting slowly more and more aware.
Yeah.
There's activists all over the world. It's slow, but it's there. There is a movement.
Too slow, if you ask me.
Too slow.
But it's hard to make this action happen faster.
Yeah, it's tough. I was saying just before we started recording how just a couple of days ago I had, there's been lots of dust now in Cyprus and just weird weather. We've never, in my whole life growing up here, have seen anything like what we've been experiencing the last few years, whether it's extreme heat, whether it's extreme winds, rain, dust. And, this quite young lady, she just said, oh yeah, well, we're just going to have to learn to live with it. And I was like, why? Why
not learn to try to mitigate it rather than live with it until it gets worse and worse and worse throughout the years?
Exactly. And this person has a young child. But as you said, it's education. And I think it's very difficult for someone like you and me who we have that passion for this and we can see all of these things happening that we want to just, yell it and shout it out to people and say, blah, 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 blah. But then people get defensive and then they close up and they say, right, I'm not going to listen to you. You're just insane.
Or they kind of get that, like you said, they get defensive and it's like, oh, are you telling me you don't eat avocados? You don't drink almond milk? It's like, oh my God, look at the big picture here.
Yeah.
They fail to see that. And
yeah.
so
they just get really, And then the classic question, if you're on a desert island and there was only a pig, would you eat it? It's like, well, yeah, that happened last week. That's such a common scenario. Yeah, it is
it's
tough.
the easiest thing to do, to criticize. Yeah. So
tell us a bit. I mean, now single plastics, at least, new laws have come in. Tell us a bit about these new laws, about what's happening against the use of single plastic. We know some of the devastating effects, but maybe you can shed some light on this podcast into why people shouldn't be using them and what they can do to avoid them.
Sure. So I think it was like a year or two ago. It's hard to remember now with like the COVID years blurring.
I know,
everything.
everything's blurred. Oh my goodness, tell me about it.
But yeah, the European Union banned a number of single-use plastic products, which included straws, cotton buds, also they...
Forks and knives and spoons.
The cutlery.
But wasn't it funny? All of the kiosks and the pistarias and everything, they knew the date it was coming in, so they pre-ordered because there's a leeway, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, I can still find in some places.
Yes, I can. Loads. Because they pre-ordered. So I think you are not allowed to order a new quantity, but anything you have in stock, you can use up.
And we were already late implementing.
People ordered 10,000 items of forks, for example, forks and knives in a plastic thing, and now they're still giving them out because they're like, they were in stock.
Yeah, actually, quite a few years back, I heard that, I could be wrong here, but maybe it was Nigeria or I forget where exactly, but they banned single-use plastic bags, and there was actually a black market for plastic bags afterwards, if you can even imagine that.
Crazy.
It's like people are so dependent on these things when they don't have to be. And like going back to what you're asking, instead of using the single-use straws or the single-use cutlery or bags, I mean, there are reusable alternatives to all of that. I mean, imagine how many straws you go through during the summer when you drink your frappes or Freddo or whatever it is you're drinking.
Yeah, or at least use paper. And okay, it gets soggy, we all know that. But then there's other alternatives for that. And then, there's the reusable, and there's so many options. I just remembered I got your reusable, your contractable, is that the word?
Oh, yeah.
The telescopic. Yeah, and I ordered loads of those for, I think, Leon's birthday, my son, 1 year, and we gave that.
And it's great that they love it because that means they're going to use it and they're setting a good example for their parents as well. The elder people in their lives that are a bit more difficult to convince to switch to these kinds of alternatives and way of living.
Yeah. So why should people avoid plastic? We know, but let's say it on the podcast. What is so bad about plastic?
Well, I mean...
And an old-fashioned, I had this also thrown at me recently. Yeah. Well, it's fine. It all gets recycled. So what's the problem?
Oh, I hate this comment so much. So I'll say this. We have one campaign going now called Refill Cyprus. And the purpose of this campaign is to kind of make it easier for people to refill their bottles with filtered water rather than relying on going to the kiosk and getting a plastic bottle of water and going to wherever they're eating, the cafe, restaurant, whatever, and ordering bottled water from there, also trying to convince the establishments to offer their guests either free filtered water or filtered water with a fee on top, just as they do the bottled water. And with this, when this campaign was launched, everyone was saying, what's the big deal? I recycle all of my plastic bottles. It's not a problem, but it actually is a problem on a number of levels because, first of all, when you think about the life cycle of a plastic bottle, it's absolutely crazy, especially when you take into consideration that it's only going to be used one time. Because first you need to extract oil. This oil that is used to create the plastic bottle itself. So you extract it, you manufacture it, all of which are contributing to greenhouse gases as it's a fossil fuel. And then after, you need to transport it from the factory that it's being made to wherever it's going to be used or sold, which is also very energy intensive as well. Then you use it, and then you have to dispose of it, right? So before disposal, let's just think about how it was to create that bottle. It was already damaging to the environment. And when it comes to disposing it, yeah, okay, let's say you recycle it. That plastic bottle can actually only be recycled 1, maybe 2 times before it can't be recycled anymore, because once it gets recycled, the polymer chain in the plastic, it grows shorter, which decreases the quality of the plastic to the point where it can't be recycled anymore. Because plastic is not like aluminum or glass that can be recycled over and over again. So sure, you can recycle your plastic bottle, but that doesn't stop the demand for more plastic bottles to be made. There's always going to be a demand, right? And if you send your plastic bottle for recycling, it's not 100% sure it's actually going to get recycled.
Well, I was going to say, there are stats that only like 25% of what is put in recycling bins anyway gets.
So
I don't know.
It ends
varies.
Up in the environment.
Yeah. It might be 50%. It might be whatever, but it's still.
Absolutely. It ends up in landfills, in the environment.
And water.
In the water, yeah.
Which then you drink. So that was one of the things that finally put me off eating fish, and I went from being a pescatarian to vegan, was the microplastics in every single fish that you eat. Even the fresh caught out, in the sea and whatever, they've still got microplastics in them.
Even
and I was like, oh.
In the bottled water itself. There were studies on various different bottled water brands throughout the world, and that show that there are microplastics in the bottled water.
Absolutely. And especially the ones that have been in hot countries like ours, and the reaction. And that's cancer forming.
It has a lot of, potential negative health effects for humans, which is, ironic because how bottled water companies market themselves. It's like, oh, we have the purest water from the purest springs and this and that. But, the water itself, it's not as healthy to consume than it is filtered tap water. It's a much healthier option, not only for you, like health-wise for you, it's a better option for your wallet because you're not continuously purchasing bottled water. You're not carrying them, from the shops, these big heavy things home. And better for the environment as well. And that's great because, once these things do end up, like how you said, in the ocean, marine life can entangle themselves in our plastic waste. They can suffocate. All of these
have digestive problems. They can, and ultimately die.
Yeah. So it's frustrating. It's like just carry.
And it's just so easy. Just get a normal bottle, a stainless steel bottle, and just fill it with water.
Absolutely. And we have to really push different establishments to offer their guests filtered water, as you do here in the hotel. But
it's a big thing. It's not easy. I see what we do here, and I'm so proud to be on this sustainable mission in St. Raphael Resorts. But it's not easy, and sometimes it's not as profitable. But again, you have to have the bigger picture in mind, and for me, that's more important. And I said that recently when we launched the filtered water on our beach, and we're the first plastic-free beach in Limassol. Of course, people can still come to the beach, and they might be holding their plastic. We can't monitor and stop that, but at least we don't sell it. And I said I'd rather make less money. I'm willing to make less money by not selling plastic bottles and just having a free water station in order to be certified like this than to sell plastic bottles. And actually, we found a way around it, and we found a company that will that is selling cartoned water. So if someone doesn't have their reusable cup or whatever, then by all means, at least it's a carton, and we sell that.
Yeah, and I don't even see the problem with filling up a carafe of filtered water and charging for
Exactly.
it. That's also fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do. We have a ceasing charge at the seashells, and we have our these which we've had made,
It's
and then
beautiful.
we clean them
because you're promoting yourself at the end of the day. You're not promoting a bottled water company.
I think we have at the back as well. I don't know if you've seen these. Less plastic, cleaner seas, proudly serving fresh filtered drinking water in our commitment to sustainability and the environment.
I love it.
San Rafael Resorts.
Everyone can do that. There's no excuse. I mean, I've been to another hotel here on the island, and I asked them, "Can I have tap water, filtered tap water?" Like, no, it's not safe to drink. I'm like, well, why don't you just install filters and pour me that? You can even charge me for it. I don't mind. And it's just hard to make them
switch. Yeah,
they're so used to it. They don't think that the alternative can be so easy, but it's quite easy.
It is, and it's doable. Yeah. It's a bit of effort, but it's an effort that's it's a
one-time thing. You sort out the issues in the beginning, whatever it is you have to do, order your bottles and all of that, and then it's done.
Yeah. So how can people help? We've covered that a little bit, but I know that you've got people can donate to your cause. They can buy, obviously, your products. But yeah, tell us a bit about how can people help? What can they do at home? Let's cover a bit of that.
Sure. Well, I guess for every nonprofit, the biggest struggle is always a lack of human and financial resources. I mean, this is just how it is for everyone, unfortunately, which is quite a shame because it is like essentially having a business. Like imagine your hotel, if you just had one person in housekeeping and one person at reception, you cannot function. You need more people. And when it comes to volunteers, it's very difficult to find those people who are able to be reliable, commit the time, and have the motivation to want to work on something like this. So I would say that one of the main things you can do is get in touch with us to express your interest in volunteering. And when I say that, people are like, oh, like I can go to their cleanup and help them clean a beach for 30 minutes. But that's not really what we need. I mean, it's great. Yeah. And we need that as well. But we need to be able to keep the organization sustainable with the other tasks that we have to do. We have to think about marketing, fundraising, outreach, you name it. We need graphic designers, people to help with social media, like everything really.
So any way that someone has a skill that they could help contribute. And again, that might be their half an hour a week, a month, but that will make a difference because if there's 10 people who are all willing to put in that bit of time and expertise, that comes together to make a team.
Absolutely. I mean, 30 minutes a week, it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We'll take what we can get.
And you have a donation page, I think, don't you? That people can donate.
Yeah, there is a
and
donation
also buy
page.
These amazing products, guys. Go and see them. You'll love them.
Yeah, there's a donation page that people can donate to. We also are always seeking like corporate sponsors to help with our projects. For example, we are installing water stations around the island to give people access to free filtered water. We've already installed 4 until now. We have another 2 in the pipeline until the end of the year. And those were all purchased through the help of corporate sponsors and a foundation. So, I mean, they can help on that end as well. And these water stations are doing very well. I would say that about 1,000 plastic bottles are being saved every month from each station because we're monitoring the amount of water that's
so
being
you've got
dispensed.
the statistics. Yeah.
So, yeah, people are using them, and that's great.
And I've just thought of another idea. If you're enjoying this podcast, you can share it to as many friends of yours as possible. Get the word out. Education is the key here. But also, if Eleni's episode is the most listened to, we have this with everyone that comes on Hotel Talk, then we will donate as San Rafael Resort and Marina €1,000 to a charity of their choice, whichever episode that is. But in your case, it would be to your charity. So share. Yeah, she's thinking, another one. So so share this episode, guys, to as many people as you can, and let's get more and more people listening to this very important message.
That's cute. I like that you do that.
Yeah, well, it's fun. It's really nice. It's been it's a fun journey, this whole podcast.
Yeah.
So give us a favorite quote. I think you've already covered one or two during the episode, but
yeah, I mean, just keeping with the flow of the conversation, I would say that my favorite quote is, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." Robert Swan said that. And I couldn't agree more. It makes perfect sense, very relevant. And I hope that more people will...
Look at Greta Thunberg. I mean, she's done so much. I mean, just so many other people as well. I can think of so many.
What if she decided not to stand up and do anything? There wouldn't be this massive movement now. So
and people love to criticize, but it's so everyone can... Oh my goodness, Nelson Mandela. There's so many people that they've started with one effort and then it's created. Yeah,
people shouldn't hold back. I mean, I know a lot of people, they're shy or, they have whatever it is that's holding them back on doing whatever activism that they're passionate about. But you just never know what your voice can do in your community. So.
Absolutely. And every effort makes a difference. That's why I tell people, for me personally, and what I do, apart from the hotel, but you don't have to go full vegan. I'd love it if everybody did, but you don't have to. But if you have even one meal a week that is plant-based, then that's already an animal that you saved. And the more you can do, it's better for your body. You're going to feel better. It's better for the environment, and of course, it's better for animals. So every little bit counts.
Absolutely. I mean, you started a nice movement with with
thanks. The Cook Vegan and our Forest Club, and it's good.
Yeah, I'm sure you've helped a lot of people. If not convert to vegetarianism or veganism, you still help them to understand that there are tasty recipes that they can at least substitute a couple meals throughout their week with. So
exactly. And just feel confident in doing that. You're not going to die of protein deficiency. You're going to get enough protein. You're going to actually get more vitamins and minerals in your diet, and you're definitely going to get more fiber, which is so important.
Just about educating them, because a lot of people are like, well, what do you eat?
Yes.
What do you eat? It's like, well, what can I not eat? There's so much to eat.
So much. Yeah, exactly. And I don't eat pain and suffering.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I cannot eat.
And cholesterol. But I do eat a lot of fiber and a lot of vitamins and a lot of minerals.
All the good stuff.
Exactly. All right, my dear. So let's get the team question.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Any one you want. Shall I read it?
Oh, you want to read it?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll read it. Says the... Oh my goodness, what a question. We have all these deep questions in here. A Brit must have asked this in our team. Do you like Marmite?
Oh, to be honest, I never tried it. I know it's like pretty popular in Australia and the UK. Yeah.
In the I don't know Australia, probably, but in the UK, yes. And Marmite did a great marketing campaign where they basically admitted that people either love it or hate it.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So
I just know you put it on bread.
But it's vegan.
Is
so
it?
it is,
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's worth trying. Do you like
it?
it?
I think in other countries it's called Vegemite. Yeah. I do actually. I used to always. I haven't had it in years and years and years. But at boarding school, there was a technique of making a sandwich with it, and you had to thump it down. That was my treats because we had our own kitchen at boarding school, and
so it's like the UK
sandwich.
Version of like peanut butter, like how we're fanatics for peanut butter. In
the United States. Yeah. So peanut butter is definitely healthier, but there you go. Well, there you go. That was your random question. I'm a bit like, I wanted a deeper one than that.
We can do another one.
Yeah, shall we? You'll be the first one to have two. Let's do another one.
Okay, let's hope I don't regret it.
I know, huh? Right, come on then. Let's get a good question here.
If it's not a deep one, it's just not meant to
Okay,
be.
this is good. Have you ever had to give up something that was hard to stop? And if so, how did you do it?
To give up something that was hard to stop. Good question.
It's a good question.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I gave up sugar, but I try not to eat it so much, and that's always difficult because it's addictive.
It is. It's really addictive. And I have to say I've had the same recently because I love that you mentioned plant-based, because it's not just about being vegan or vegetarian, but living a healthier lifestyle. And sugar is just so bad for you on every level, white processed sugar.
Yeah.
But lately, I also found myself eating, because there's so many vegan options now and they're so great. And I'm like, yay, you know, Nestle came out with vegan Kit Kat. I've got to support this movement.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's really
and suddenly
nice.
I found myself grabbing all of these basically junk food, fast food options. Because I want to try. I want to support up by 10 of those. Yeah. And then I found myself eating basically vegan, but processed food daily. And then I was like, oh, I was craving it. And it's tough to, and then I've been like, right, back to dates.
Yeah. It takes a bit to detox from it and go back to your
It really does. It takes a few
diet.
weeks, 21 days to break a habit.
That's it, yeah.
Say.
And your taste buds change as well after that
yeah.
time. So.
But I was like craving, yeah.
I get it.
So, so do you not eat sugar at all now, or?
Oh, no. I mean, I eat sugar, but I just, I guess that's one of the things that, okay, like I said, I didn't give it up completely.
Yeah.
I couldn't really think of anything that I gave up completely.
And okay, maybe you said you eat a bit of feta, but you don't eat so much cheese.
Yeah.
And I imagine, because cheese is extremely addictive.
For sure.
Yeah. It hits the same, it hits the same brain receptors as heroin.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, because in the casein, the protein in cheese, there's casomorphin, which is specifically in dairy products. And so cheese, when people eat it, they get happy. It hits that brain receptor. Wow. And so we don't need it in our bodies. Actually, we get less calcium eating it because our body has to balance that, and it takes it out from our bones.
The human body is so interesting.
It's so
interesting. Think that because they think, oh, eat more cheese, and that's more calcium
the kids should eat. Oh, your teeth are white. You need to be white. Eat, osteoporosis, everything. But no, they've done studies on people who eat more dairy and more prone to osteoporosis and calcium deficiencies, and better to get some sesame seeds in you. Yeah. Have your leafy greens, get your broccoli, so many other sources that you'll get healthy calcium.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you won't get all of the, I can tell you enough things to put you off cheese.
Okay.
Pass.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Everything. There's so many things, but it's definitely tough to give up something that you enjoy. But when it's something bad for you, it's well worth it.
Yeah, I guess what's hard is that it's something that was like I grew up with, being Greek, always having feta in the house. But it doesn't mean I can't completely kick it out. So next time when I come
next time will be that. And how did
my answer?
But how did you give up sugar then, or like sugar addiction? Let's say
stop.
You just stopped. Did you substitute for something else, or?
Just fruits. But
fruits are amazing. Actually, you think no, it's not going to hit the same spot, but when you've had an apple, you're like, actually, no, I'm kind of good now.
And just stop buying it because, like you said, you're interested to try this, to try that, and then before you know it, you have a little pantry of chocolates and sweets that you really don't need, but it's just there because you were excited when you saw it and you wanted to buy it. So
and then I've got to eat it. I don't want to waste that.
Yeah, that's the other problem. I have to eat it before it expires. It'll be a waste.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Eleni, thank you so much. I think this has been a fascinating episode. I think people will learn so much. I was quite sorry and touched to hear about your story of having to uproot yourself and move here at such a tender age. I mean, that's only 6 years older than my eldest daughter, and I couldn't imagine having to give her up for anything in the world. But I didn't want to press you too hard on questions for that, because I feel that we would have got the tissues. I've done that in another episode. We had to move the tissue box in the middle. And
I need to watch that one.
And so, maybe on another time we'll go into more of that, because
it'll be like a therapy session here.
Well, everyone's story is someone else's survival guide. So I'm sure many people can resonate with feeling abandoned in a way, or feeling not as loved as they maybe wanted to be or needed to be at any given time in their life. But definitely what you've achieved in your life, forget about finding somewhere to work and supporting yourself and starting an amazing organization, but simply by surviving and thriving and being happy and finding a happily ever after marriage and with your husband. That's already an inspiration to so many people, I'm sure, listening to this. And Let's Make Cyprus Green is only a bit of the icing. I can't wait to see what else you achieve and do, and keep being you. And we're just so proud to be able to support you at St. Raphael Resort and Marina, and to have so many products. You can even buy Let's Make Cyprus Green products at our shop, at our souvenir shop here. So have that in mind, guys, if you visit soon, or look them up on their website. And let's all work together to making the world a greener, more sustainable place that our children and our friends and future generations can keep enjoying, because it is a beautiful world. And there are beautiful people here and kind people. And I think everybody is kind. They just need to have that nudge to move quicker and to, get with it.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all your support throughout the years and for inviting me here on the podcast today. It's been very fun. Thank you so much, Farah.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because it helps us more than you may realize. If you are planning on coming to visit us at St. Raphael Resort and Marina, feel free to email our reservations team quoting Hotel Talk and receive an exclusive offer just for you. We look forward to seeing you soon, hearing your feedback about our show, and producing many, many more interesting episodes just for you, our listener, and our valued guest in mind. Thank you so much, and take care.